let's talk about structure. Structure, again, goes back to how particular parts are connected to the whole. It refers to the way in which the writer organizes the information in the text and in which order he chooses to reveal it. It also refers to how parts of the text fit together to make a whole. Structure is content-driven, and we can look at how information is organized both on the level of the entire text, but also within each paragraph. So, what are we looking for when commenting on structure? Firstly, we're looking at the beginning and the ending. I'm sure your teachers have told you many times that these are perhaps the most important parts of the text. We're also looking at development, contrast, shifts, and pace. The beginning of any text is very important because the writer has only a few seconds to interest the reader to read the text. Authors use different techniques to hook the reader in, and depending on the text, you may wish to analyze how the author achieves that purpose. The ending, on the other hand, leaves the biggest emotional impact on the reader. Depending on the topic, the ending may be conclusive or non-conclusive. Non-conclusive endings in fiction works can be cliffhangers, and in non-fiction works, the author might want to leave a question open to debate, without offering a final word on it. A common strategy writers use to make their work very well organized is using a cyclical structure. This is when the story ends in the same place it began, or in non-fiction, where the author uses the same idea at the end of the text that he used at the beginning. This can make the text feel well-rounded. So you might want to look at the beginning and the ending and see if there are elements of cyclical structure. In between the beginning and the end, most texts progress in a linear manner, meaning there is some natural development or progression of ideas. So you want to look at how the author develops his ideas and what topics he deals with. Another thing you may wish to look at is whether there is a change in the intensity of tone and mood in the text. For example, whether the tone moves from slightly melancholic at the beginning towards openly depressing towards the end of the text. Sometimes the authors organize different elements of the text in such a way that they don't gradually build upon one another, but instead clash. This is the use of contrast, when two neighboring paragraphs in a text discuss completely opposite topics or deal with a topic in a completely opposite manner. If you find juxtaposition between different elements of the text, that is contrast, and it might be worth commenting upon. Another thing you might want to look at are shifts. Any major shift in focus or topic and the theme of the text should be commented on. When I say focus, I mean what the author is focusing on in each paragraph. So you might notice that there is a shift from the focus on the exterior to the interior of a building. Or the author might shift focus from describing the environment to describing a particular character's or his own mental state and thoughts. The environment and thoughts might often be intertwined and reflect one another, so you might comment on that too. The author might also shift focus from a general discussion of an idea to a specific example, or from a generic phenomenon to an individual's experience of that phenomenon. These are all worth analyzing and commenting on. You can also comment on the change of the subject or the theme, which refers to more subtle underlying meaning of the text. To indicate such shifts, authors sometimes use one-sentence paragraphs. Look for them to give you a clue. Finally, another element of structure is pace. Pace simply refers to how fast the text progresses. Think of it in this way. An action film usually evolves much more quickly than a slow romantic film. So how do authors slow or speed up the pace of a text? Faster-paced texts usually have shorter paragraphs and shorter sentences with more action, dialogue, and exciting events. On the other hand, slow-paced texts feature longer sentences and paragraphs with more narration and description than dialogue. Authors add details and may use flashbacks or foreshadowing to slow down the main action. If there's anything that was left unclear or anything else you wish to talk about, please comment in the comment section below or send us an email. Happy exam season, everyone!